Well, what's going on, gang? Welcome back to A Therapeutic Edge. I have no idea why I'm shouting. So let's try that again, shall we? Welcome back to A Therapeutic Edge. Thank you so much for joining me. I've got something on the table that just makes me smile. Yes, it does. I love Curtiss Custom Knives. David Curtiss is a fairly nice guy. I love his designs. We've had the Cruise, and Women Carry Knives still has a Cruise, and we've had F3s. I have an F3 large and an F3 medium. These are the newer, thinner. We'll get to this in a second. I also have older ones. I have a medium in much thicker steel and a large, it's sort of a tanto. These are some of my favorite knives. And so I follow Curtiss over on Facebook in particular. And a long time ago, he released a big knife called the BMF, which for sales purposes stands for Battle Master Flipper. Is that right? Is that what they decided? Is that what it says? Yeah. Battle Master Flipper. BMF can stand for whatever you'd like it to stand for. I don't think it stands for Battle Master Flipper. I think it stands for Big Mother Flipper. Yeah, Big Mother Flipper. The original generation had a larger pivot that acted as a over travel stop. It had some other features to it. Then a few years ago, he started releasing them again, like this one. They're a little thinner. But this one's in Magna Cut. Anyway, this is the BMF, and it is ridiculous to look at. It just is, and yet it's fantastic. The BMF is not a mission-critical, purpose-built utility tool. It is an expression of art and materials, and I very much hope that it also is just an expression of what Curtiss over at Curtiss Custom Knives thinks is fun. Because this thing is just wild. Yeah. It's just wild. And the best part is that it still functions as a fully useful pocket knife. Oh, it takes up your pocket. I mean, it's a big knife, even closed. Hell of a flipper tab on it, but it's got enough of a tip that you can do your daily tasks without too much of a drag. The Magna Cut is done in such a way that it holds an edge beautifully, but it's really slicey. I mean, look at all the belly you've got, even at the front, right? It's got a recurve to it that most people don't like, but I don't mind. I've got a bunch of my favorite knives are recurve, and I've noticed that once you get it into the material you're cutting, that recurve helps the blade stay centered as you cut down or pull through. He did this compound grind in such a way that you can see this line right here, right? There's no little weird nib or tip to worry about sort of grinding out. You're going to want to be careful because you could just grind that flat if you're not careful. But as long as you follow the line, it's a much easier knife to keep an edge on than some of my other compound ground blades that are very complex. It's got speed holes in it in case you want to go fast. It's got a forward choil that is big enough for my big old fingers and a perfect landing ramp for your thumb. It also works for draw cuts. You come forward, it's got a nice flat, right? You can pull this way. The handle shape looks like it should be uncomfortable. It's not. Particularly if you come forward. That is really good. Now, it's not, like I said, a purpose-built utility tool, mission-specific. It's none of those things. If you're going to go out and cut cardboard for 5.5 hours, that handle is going to screw you up. that's not what it's for. And quite frankly, if you're going to just use it like that, get yourself a large F3, because this is all of those things. This is a purpose-built, mission-specific cutting tool. It is utility in motion, whatever, I don't care. My point is that this is very distinctly not this on purpose. Now, they're not inexpensive. Yeah, I think these are about $800. Now, these are mid-tech. And mid-tech means different things to different people. No flashlight was on. Mid-tech, what it should mean is that the parts are factory made, but the assembly and the fine-tuning is hand-done. And that's these. And in fact, that's his stuff for the most part. He still does have a shop where he makes small batches of full custom stuff, but his stuff is mid-tech, and I'm fine with that. So let's take a look at what you get on this big mother flipper. Oh, dude, I love this. I love this because it absolutely isn't that. You know, and as much as I enjoy them, what do I do with that? No? All right. Well, I had another knife on the table, but it doesn't matter. This is just a pocket knife. Well, it's a nice one, but it's just a pocket knife. This is just more than that. But let's be honest, I very much like this too. And some people hate it. And I'm okay with that. You and I don't have to like the same things. And that's okay. The best thing about pocket knives as a tool and as an art and as a collection is that we don't have to like the same thing. Unfortunately, people tend to lose that. People like to be angry about stuff, don't they? So someone will post a picture of a knife that they like, and then everybody, oh, that sucks, it's terrible, you can't like that, it's not good for this, and it won't do... Shut the fuck up. Honestly. Sorry. That's a pet peeve of mine, can you tell? All right, let's put the Norseman away. The BMF is, this is a second or third generation of a custom knife that's been around for a long time. This generation, as I said, has a bit of a mid-tech vibe to it. It is, as I said, I keep repeating myself, but let's make sure we're all on the same page. It is all titanium, Magna Cut. It is very much his design aesthetic, writ large and writ sort of ridiculous. Look at the milling on the lock bar. Is that coming out? Oops, sorry. Yeah, you can see that. There's micro milling on the lock bar. It's not milled out on the inside because all of the extensive milling is on the outside. Action's interesting. There is no double clutch, not really. Like, you get the lock bar out of the way, and there is a little right there, right? That's where it steps where the detent ball steps up onto the blade. But it's nothing too intense. And then it just sort of slides closed. It's surprisingly light, given its size. Okay, let's get some basic specs out of the way. You get 3.5 inches of cutting on 3 3/4 inches of that Magna Cut in a very wild pattern. Grip area is a bit of a challenge. It's either 3 1/4 or 1, 2, 3, 4 1/2. If I hold it back here, it is a little narrow for my big old hand, right? You're kind of pinched. I am a little bit. But I tend to hold this knife this way anyway, in which case I am not pinched. From tip to tail, we are coming in at 8 3/4, so a little under 9 inches. Closed length on the BMF, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 1/4. In the pocket profile is an atrocity. It is a little over 2 1/4 inches at its widest. But it carries. And part of that is because it's relatively lean. It is a little bit slab-sided, so it's only 12 millimeters. It's just a 1/2 inch, right? So although it eats up a phone's worth of space in your pocket, this way it's not too bad. So it's got a really nice clip on it. As you can see, this clip doesn't even actually, I'm sorry, let me get my hand out of the way. It's relatively stiff, right? It's a relatively thick slice of titanium. And so there's a little gap between the knife and the ramp, but that actually works in your favor. I'm going to put it in my pocket as we talk. You can't see it, but that means it just drops into the pocket and it just pops right out. It doesn't snag. The milled clip is nicely done. It's got sort of frag patterning on it all over the place. Should we do some size comparisons? Because I'm sure you all care. Here it is against the grip. If this knife was stretched out and straight, it would be this long, but it isn't. It's sort of crescent shaped, and as you can see, it is longer than a full-size grip. How about an Adira? It is basically the same size as the Adira, which doesn't really help because there aren't enough of these out there yet for them to actually be a good size comparison tool. Let's bring the Norseman back up onto the table. It is a little bit longer than a Norseman, but equally weird. If you have Curtiss knives, then you'll know, then it's basically the same length as a full-size F3. And then finally, how about, oh, we had it on the table. There it is against the bug out. It's a big knife. And I'm totally okay with that. The BMF is an art expression as well as a useful cutting tool. It is not going to appeal to everyone, and I'm cool with that. He makes, like I said, he makes knives that just appeal to everyone, right? These are just really good, but just straight up pocket knives. Nothing too wild, nothing too crazy, right? He's got you covered. But every once in a while, I'm guessing just for shits and giggles, he goes ahead and re-releases a batch of these BMFs into the wild. And this time I got one. And that makes me happy. I hope having an opportunity to take a look at it makes you happy. Maybe it will inspire you to try to hunt one up. If you do, again, they're very expensive. But so what? If this is the kind of thing that you dig, go get one. I had the opportunity when he did the most recent drop, and I'm glad I didn't wait, because as soon as this was sold, well, very shortly thereafter, they were sold out. So, I don't know, maybe I got the only one he had on his site. In any case, I really appreciate your time. Thank you for listening to me rant. I am very much enjoying owning the Curtiss Knives BMF. I hope you've enjoyed this look at it. Thank you again for your time today. You guys take care of yourselves and take care of each other. We'll see you next time.